The sky over Earth was quiet, almost too quiet. Cities hummed with life. People went to work. Children played in parks. And no one seemed to notice that far above. A shadow stretched across the stars. The Galactic Council had warned the worlds about the fleet. It was coming. And it had already destroyed everything in its path. Planets had burned. Civilizations had fallen. And no one had survived to tell the story. Now, Earth was next. In Washington, the human leaders met in the emergency command room. President David Hall stood at the center of the table, his face tight with worry. Generals and scientists crowded around screens that displayed alien ship movements. They were enormous, bigger than any human vessel, dark and metallic, glowing with strange lights that seemed alive. "They are almost here," said General Robert Lane, his voice low but firm. "Estimates put them at 3 days from the outer planets. If we do not act, they will be in orbit within a week." "We do not surrender," David said. He was not afraid, but the weight of his words filled the room. "We are human. We survive. We adapt. We fight." In the corner, Admiral John Carter watched quietly. He had spent years preparing for this. He had trained with the fleet, studied alien technology, and predicted this moment long before anyone else. Beside him, Commander Lisa Brown tapped on a console. "Admiral," she said softly, "I have been reviewing their patterns. They move fast, but predictable. They underestimate humans. They always do." John nodded. "That is why they will lose. We do not panic. We do not rush. We prepare." While world leaders argued about diplomacy, some scientists worked quietly in secret. Engineer Kevin Hall checked systems in a hidden facility beneath the Colorado mountains. The facility was old, built decades ago for projects no one would speak about. It held ships, weapons, and technology humans had salvaged from the stars. Kevin walked through the corridors, scanning panels and circuits. Each system came to life with a hum of energy. "Systems at full power," he said to himself, "ready for anything." In another city, pilot Amy White suited up. She checked her weapons, her ship, and her engines. She had trained for this her entire life, flying simulators and practicing maneuvers in space that no one else dared. Her ship was small compared to the alien vessels, but it was fast and precise. It could strike, retreat, and strike again. She smiled at the thought. Humans were not built for brute strength alone. Humans survived because of skill, courage, and intelligence. As the aliens approached, communication signals reached Earth. The Council sent a warning: surrender or be destroyed. The message was simple, cold, and terrifying. The world held its breath. Newspapers flashed headlines, news channels debated the options, and civilians panicked. But in the command centers, humans acted differently. They did not panic. They did not cry. They moved with calm determination. John Carter read the message carefully, then looked at Lisa. "Reply," he said quietly. "Tell them we have received the message." Lisa tapped a few keys and sent a short transmission. It contained no threats, no pleas, just a simple statement. Earth had received the message. The aliens waited, expecting fear, submission, or confusion. None came. They scanned the planet, looking for signs of weakness. They saw cities, lights, and moving vehicles. They saw humans preparing weapons, training, and fortifying defenses. But they interpreted it as disorganized, weak, and primitive. They underestimated humans completely. In space, alien scouts moved closer to the inner planets. They reported their findings to the fleet leaders. "Earth is primitive," said one commander, a tall alien with pale, translucent skin. "Its defenses are weak. They will fall quickly. No intelligence indicates any serious threat." The fleet commander nodded. He had seen many species, many worlds, and he had destroyed them all. Humans would be no different. He ordered the fleet to advance. Meanwhile, on Earth, John Carter held a briefing with his top officers. "They think we are weak," he said. "They think we panic. They think we are afraid. They are wrong. They have never faced humans like this." He pointed to a screen showing a map of the solar system. Ships, stations, and hidden bases were marked. Some were old, some were newly built, but all were ready. Every human vessel, every hidden station, every system we control will be part of the defense. But this is not about fighting blindly. We observe. We calculate. We strike. Where it hurts. The aliens expect fear. We give them strategy. Commander Lisa Brown smiled. "They will not see us coming. Not until it is too late." Kevin Hall finished final adjustments on the weapons systems. The energy cores glowed with a soft blue light. The room was quiet, except for the hum of machinery. He thought about his work. About every ship, every cannon, every drone, and how humans would use them. Every calculation, every repair, every test had led to this moment. Humans were ready. Amy White climbed into her ship. She checked the controls, the targeting systems, the shields. Everything was perfect. She looked out at the sky, thinking about the aliens approaching, thinking about what they would see when they reached Earth. She smiled. Humans were not afraid. Humans were ready. As the fleet approached the outer planets, Earth remained calm. Satellites moved into position. Hidden weapons prepared for activation. Teams of engineers and pilots coordinated quietly across continents. The aliens moved with confidence, believing humans were helpless. In the midst of the preparations, John Carter walked through the command center. Screens flickered with data from all over the solar system. He stopped at a window and looked at the sky, imagining the fleet moving silently through space. He thought about human history, about battles fought and won against impossible odds. Humans always survived. Humans always found a way. "Admiral," Lisa said, coming to stand beside him, "they will be here in hours. Are you sure this will work?" John turned to her and smiled. "They will learn what humans have always known. We survive. We fight. We adapt. We never surrender, even when the odds are against us." Back on the surface, civilians went about their lives, unaware of the fleet approaching. But in secret bunkers, hidden stations, and silent ships, humans moved like shadows, preparing for the moment the aliens would arrive. In the outer planets, the first scouts reached the asteroid belt. They sent images back to the fleet, expecting to find nothing, only rocks, dust, and weak resistance. Instead, they found movement. Small ships darted between asteroids, maneuvering with speed no alien had anticipated. Weapons systems activated. Alien sensors blinked in confusion. "What is this?" The scout commander hissed. "They are attacking already? But they are too small." The fleet commander looked at the images. He frowned. Humans were supposed to be slow, primitive, and predictable, but these were not. Humans were precise, coordinated, and relentless. The first sign of human resistance was not a roar or a threat. It was strategy. On Earth, John Carter received reports. The humans in the asteroid belt had slowed down the scouts. Small damage was reported, but the aliens did not yet understand the scope of human planning. John looked at the screens and smiled. Humans were not rushing blindly into battle. Humans were striking exactly where it mattered. Kevin Hall monitored systems from the hidden facility. Energy levels were stable. Weapons were ready. Every system was synchronized. He thought about the humans who had built these ships, the engineers who had worked in secret for decades. Every detail was perfect. Humans were ready. Amy White adjusted her course in the cockpit. Her small ship moved like a shadow among asteroids. She could see the alien scouts, their confusion growing. She prepared to strike again, but waited for the command. Humans did not waste power on unnecessary attacks. They were precise, deliberate, and lethal. As the alien fleet entered the solar system, the Council observed in fear. They expected to see panic on Earth, not preparation. They expected surrender, not strategy. But the humans did not panic. The humans did not surrender. The humans only smiled. In Washington, John Carter addressed his officers one final time before the fleet reached orbit. They believe they know us. They do not. They think fear guides us. It does not. It is planning. It is courage. It is preparation. Humans have survived wars, disasters, and extinction before. This time will be no different. When they arrive, they will see who humans really are. The officers nodded, eyes filled with determination. They had trained for this. They had prepared for this. Now, it was time. Far above, the alien fleet approached, massive and confident. It carried death and destruction, as it had done to countless worlds before. It expected the same here. It expected easy victory. On Earth, humans waited, calm, focused, and ready. They were not afraid. They never had been. And when the fleet reached the solar system, they would learn why humans always survive. And for the first time, the Council and the aliens alike noticed something they had never seen before. Humans did not fear them. Humans smiled. The Galactic fleet moved slowly through the solar system. Massive ships glided past the outer planets, their engines glowing with a strange blue light. Scouts flew ahead, scanning for life, scanning for defenses. The aliens expected resistance to be weak, scattered, and fearful. They were wrong. On Earth, humans worked in silence. Every command center, every station, every ship was active, yet calm. No one panicked. No one rushed. Admiral John Carter walked among the officers, checking reports, observing movements, and listening. He did not need to tell anyone what to do. Everyone already knew. They had trained for this. They had prepared for this. Engineer Kevin Hall adjusted power grids in a secret facility on Mars. His fingers moved over controls with confidence. Energy flowed through hidden weapons systems. Deep space sensors activated. Old satellites, thought useless decades ago, began sending streams of data back to human command centers. Kevin smiled. Everything was working perfectly. Humans had planned for decades for this moment. Pilot Amy White flew a test mission near the asteroid belt. Her small ship darted between rocks and debris, testing engines and weapons. She reported back to Commander Lisa Brown. "Systems are perfect," Amy said. "All weapons ready. Ships are in position. The fleet will not see us coming until it is too late." Lisa nodded. "Good. Patience is key. We strike when the moment is right. No mistakes." Far from Earth, alien scouts sent images back to their fleet. They saw nothing alarming. Small asteroids, a few ships moving slowly. They believed humans were primitive and weak. The fleet commander felt certain of victory. "They cannot challenge us," he said. "Their technology is basic. Their numbers are small. We will have this world in hours." He did not notice the small ships hidden behind asteroids. He did not notice the satellites streaming data, linking to hidden stations. He did not notice the humans quietly preparing for war. Humans were not loud. Resound loud. With accreted. Humans were not brash. Humans were precise, clever, and patient. On Earth, John Carter reviewed sensor data. "The scouts will report nothing significant," he said. "They will think we are weak. That is fine. They will underestimate us. That is exactly what we want." End quote. Lisa studied the alien movements. Their approach is predictable. They rely on size and firepower. They do not expect strategy. They do not expect patience. We have time. We have the advantage. President David Hall watched the preparations, a mix of pride and concern on his face. Civilians had no idea what was happening above them. They believed the world was waiting for destruction. They were wrong. Humans never waited for destruction. Humans prepared, adapted, and acted when necessary. Kevin Hall moved through the hidden corridors of the Mars facility, checking each weapon system. He activated energy cores, calibrated targeting arrays, and ensured communication links were stable. Every detail mattered. The human fleet may have been smaller than the alien armada, but humans were not naive. Every ship, every weapon, every strategy had been tested. They were ready. Amy White returned to base after her patrol. She removed her helmet, breathing steadily. She thought about the aliens approaching. Massive ships capable of destroying planets. Most would have panicked. Humans did not. Humans always found a way. She smiled. Back in orbit, the first scouts moved closer to Earth. They expected to find little resistance. Instead, they found movement. Hidden drones, small ships, and unknown energy signatures appeared. The scouts sent images back to the fleet, but the commander dismissed them. He believed the humans were primitive, incapable of serious organization. "They are small," he said. "Insignificant. Destroy them quickly." But the humans did not act recklessly. They waited. Each movement, each strike, each maneuver had been planned. Patience was their weapon. The aliens could not understand that. They had never faced a species that did not panic when threatened. On Earth, John Carter and Lisa Brown coordinated global fleets. Ships from hidden stations appeared in strategic locations. Energy grids hummed with power. Communication links connected all units in perfect synchronization. Humans could strike anywhere, at any time. The aliens believed they saw nothing. In truth, everything was ready. Kevin Hall monitored weapon systems. He thought about the humans who had built them, the engineers who had worked in secret for decades. Every detail mattered. Every calculation mattered. Humans had prepared for this moment for generations. Amy White joined other pilots in the command center. They reviewed plans, simulated attacks, and practiced maneuvers. Their ships were smaller than the alien vessels, but they were faster, more agile, and smarter. The fleet was not about size. It was about precision, strategy, and courage. Far from Earth, the aliens moved closer to the inner planets. Their confidence grew. They expected surrender, weakness, or chaos. None came. They scanned the planet. They detected energy signatures, ships, and communications, but interpreted them as minor activity. They could not imagine the coordination behind it. "Earth is ready?" one scout asked. "Earth is primitive," the fleet commander replied. "They cannot challenge us. They will fall quickly. Our fleet is larger, stronger, and more advanced. They have no chance." The humans watched silently. They did not respond to alien communications. They did not send threats or pleas. They simply prepared. Their calm unnerved the council and the aliens alike. Humans did not panic. Humans did not cry. Humans did not beg. As the alien fleet approached, hidden ships moved into position. Drones scanned space for weak points. Satellites created networks of energy shields. Secret stations activated weapons. Every system, every soldier, every pilot was ready. Humans waited for the right moment to act. John Carter reviewed data from the outer planets. Small ships had slowed alien scouts. Minimal damage had been done, but it was enough to confuse the aliens. Their sensors could not understand the coordination, the speed, and the accuracy of human movements. Humans were silent, invisible, and deadly. Amy White flew another test patrol. She moved through asteroids, dodging alien scans. Her ship was small, agile, and fast. She reported data back to command. Everything was perfect. Every human unit was in position, waiting for the order to strike. Lisa Brown coordinated from the command center. She studied alien patterns, predicted movements, and assigned ships to positions. The humans did not act without reason. Each action had purpose. Each strike would be decisive. They were patient, and patience was a weapon the aliens had never faced. Kevin Hall powered the last energy cores. He checked targeting systems and confirmed communication networks. The hidden stations and ships were connected, forming a single, coordinated human force. Every detail mattered. Humans had planned for years. Now, it was time to see if the plan worked. On the alien command ship, the commander received another message from Earth. It was short, simple, and calm. Humans had acknowledged the fleet's warning. No fear, no threats, no surrender. Only acknowledgement. He frowned. "They are strange," the commander said. "Why do they not panic? Why do they not surrender?" His advisors shook their heads. Humans were unpredictable, but weak. They could not be a threat. The commander dismissed their words. He had destroyed worlds before. Humans would be no different. Back on Earth, John Carter watched the incoming fleet. His face was calm. He knew the aliens underestimated humans. He knew patience, strategy, and coordination would win the first battle. He looked at Lisa Brown. "They will learn the hard way," he said quietly. "Humans survive when others fail. They will see it now." Amy White prepared her ship for a final check. The engines purred, weapons were ready, and shields were stable. She thought about the fleet approaching. Massive and confident. Most species would panic. Humans would not. Humans were ready. Kevin Hall confirmed all systems. Every station, every ship, every weapon was connected. Humans could strike anywhere, anytime. The aliens did not see it yet. But humans had the advantage. Strategy, patience, and preparation would be their greatest weapons. As the aliens entered the inner solar system, the humans remained calm. Civilians were unaware of the danger. The council watched nervously. They expected chaos, panic, and surrender. They saw none. Humans smiled. The first scouts approached the asteroid belt again, expecting no resistance. They were met with unexpected attacks. Small ships moved with precision, striking weak points, then retreating before the scouts could respond. Alien sensors were confused. They could not understand the coordination. Humans were silent, patient, and deadly. John Carter received reports from all corners of the solar system. The scouts were slowed. Alien confidence was shaken, and humans were fully prepared. He looked at Lisa Brown. "They expect fear," he said. "They will find strategy. They expect chaos. They will find patience. They expect surrender. They will find humans smiling." The fleet continued to move closer. Massive alien ships filled the skies above the outer planets. Scouts reported every detail, but humans were always one step ahead. Hidden stations, satellites, and ships formed an invisible net. Humans waited. Humans planned. Humans would strike when the time was right. Amy White piloted her small ship near the outer planets, observing the fleet. She could see the vast numbers, the massive ships, the alien confidence. Humans were outnumbered, but they were not weak. Every human movement was precise. Every strike would be lethal. She smiled. Humans never panicked. Humans never gave up. Humans survived. Kevin Hall monitored the energy grids one last time. Every system hummed. Every weapon was ready. Humans were waiting. Humans were prepared. And when the aliens reached Earth, they would see exactly what humans were capable of. John Carter looked at the stars. The alien fleet was close. They were confident. They were powerful. But they had made a mistake. They had underestimated humans. Humans were patient, prepared, and precise. They had been waiting for this moment for generations. And as the aliens advanced, humans remained calm. Civilians went about their lives, unaware of the danger above them. But in secret, hidden stations and ships waited. Pilots like Amy White were ready. Engineers like Kevin Hall were ready. Leaders like John Carter and Lisa Brown were ready. Humans did not panic. Humans did not surrender. Humans only smiled. They waited. They planned. They would strike. And the aliens would never see it coming. The alien fleet reached the edge of the inner solar system. Massive ships moved in perfect formation, glowing with blue and red lights. Their weapons hummed, shields glimmered, and commanders felt certain of victory. They had destroyed countless worlds before. Earth would be no different. But as they crossed the orbit of Jupiter, something unexpected happened. Sensors picked up hundreds of small blips. They were too fast to be ordinary satellites, too precise to be random debris. The fleet scanned again, confused. What was this? On Earth. Admiral John Carter watched the data, his eyes calm. "They see nothing yet," he said to Commander Lisa Brown. "The moment is near. Patience is our ally." Hidden ships moved silently in the asteroid belt, forming patterns the aliens could not interpret. Drones appeared from behind asteroids, striking lightly at scouts, then disappearing into shadows. Small alien ships were destroyed before their reinforcements could arrive. Sensors flickered. Alarms rang. Confusion spread through the alien fleet. Pilot Amy White flew her small fighter, weaving through the debris. She struck a scout with precision, disabling its engines. It spun out of control, colliding with another scout. The aliens realized they were not facing weak humans. They were facing skilled, coordinated fighters. Engineer Kevin Hall monitored energy outputs from the hidden stations. Weapons charged, shields activated, and communication networks linked every ship. Humans had not revealed their full strength yet. They were invisible, silent, and deadly. "Admiral," Lisa said, pointing to a large holographic display. "The scouts are reporting multiple attacks from different directions. They cannot track the sources. The fleet is confused." John nodded. "Good. They will overextend. Their confidence will become weakness. Humans strike, not with fear, but with intelligence." The alien commanders shouted orders, trying to regroup. Massive ships turned to defend against small, fast attacks. They underestimated humans completely. They had expected fear, panic, and surrender. They found strategy, patience, and precise coordination instead. On Earth, John Carter gave the command. The human fleet, hidden in orbit around Mars and the asteroid belt, began moving in formation. Not hundreds, not thousands, but enough to overwhelm alien sensors. Small ships darted forward, weaving in perfect patterns. Drones created false signals, confusing the fleet further. Hidden stations activated energy shields to protect key positions. Humans struck silently, methodically, and with perfect timing. Amy White led a squadron of fighters through an asteroid field, each ship moving as if it were one. They targeted weak points in alien shields and engines, striking where the aliens could not defend. Explosions lit up space. Small at first, but precise and deadly. Alien scouts reported the destruction, alarms blaring across the fleet. The aliens realized too late that Earth was not defenseless. Humans had prepared for decades. They had hidden ships, secret weapons, and pilots trained for years. Humans were not just survivors. They were strategists, engineers, and warriors. The fleet had underestimated them completely. Kevin Hall activated a series of hidden weapons in the outer asteroid belt. Energy beams struck alien ships, disabling engines and weapons. Massive ships could not maneuver fast enough to avoid the attacks. Drones created false targets, drawing fire away from human positions. The aliens struggled to understand the attack. They had never faced such coordination. On Earth, President David Hall watched the reports in disbelief. Humans were outnumbered, but they were winning. They moved silently, struck with precision, and never panicked. Civilians were unaware, but leaders and soldiers watched history unfold. Humans were showing the galaxy what they were capable of. Amy White returned from her strike, reporting minimal damage to human ships. The aliens had not anticipated speed, precision, and strategy combined. The fleet commander, growing desperate, ordered all ships to focus on the small human fighters. Massive weapons fired, but they missed or were diverted by drones. Shields held. Humans adapted. They moved faster, striking again and again. Commander Lisa Brown coordinated attacks from the command center. Every ship, every station, every weapon system was linked. Humans moved as one, predicting alien movements and striking before they could react. Confusion and panic spread through the alien fleet. They had never faced a species that did not panic, a species that moved with perfect coordination. John Carter watched the battle unfold. He knew the aliens underestimated humans. They believed size and firepower were enough. They did not understand strategy, patience, and intelligence. Humans had planned for generations. Hidden weapons and ships, trained pilots and engineers. Now, it was time for the galaxy to see human strength. Kevin Hall monitored energy levels. Weapons fired with precision. Shields held against alien attacks. Drones disrupted targeting systems. Every move, every strike, every calculation was perfect. Humans had turned defense into offense, and offense into strategy. The alien fleet tried to regroup. Massive ships fired at human positions, but they were too slow. Small fighters dodged, struck, and disappeared. Hidden stations fired energy beams from angles the aliens could not track. Chaos spread across the fleet. Massive vessels collided in confusion. Explosions erupted in space. Amy White led another squadron through the outer planets. They struck alien ships with pinpoint accuracy. Engines failed. Weapons were destroyed. And shields collapsed. The aliens realized they were facing a species they had misjudged. Humans were not primitive, not weak, not afraid. Humans were skilled, clever, and fearless. John Carter sent a message to the alien commanders. It was simple, calm, and clear. Leave now, or face the consequences. Humans had no desire for war, but they would defend their home with everything they had. The fleet commander hesitated. Pride and past victories blinded him. He believed humans could not resist. He was wrong. Kevin Hall activated orbital defenses. Energy grids lit up, creating barriers and weapons fire. Drones struck again, confusing alien targeting systems. Small ships attacked from multiple directions. The fleet could not respond quickly enough. Chaos and panic spread across their ranks. Amy White watched from her cockpit as the alien fleet faltered. Ships turned, fired blindly, and collided. The small human fighters were everywhere, striking, dodging, and disappearing. Humans were proving the galaxy wrong. They were not to be underestimated. On Earth, President David Hall and his team watched reports in amazement. The fleet was massive, but humans had turned the battle into strategy. Skill, intelligence, and patience were winning against size, strength, and confidence. Humans had always survived against impossible odds. Now, they were proving it to the entire galaxy. Commander Lisa Brown gave orders. Hidden ships moved closer, striking the alien fleet from angles they could not defend. Drones created illusions, misdirecting fire, while human pilots targeted engines and weapons. The fleet commander realized too late that his calculations had failed. Humans were everywhere, yet nowhere. Every move was precise. Every attack was calculated. John Carter smiled. Humans had turned fear into strength, weakness into advantage, and patience into weaponry. The aliens could not understand it, and they could not stop it. Humans were patient, prepared, and precise. The galaxy had underestimated them, and now it would pay the price for that mistake. Kevin Hall watched systems carefully. Energy flows were stable, weapons ready, and communication perfect. Humans had planned for generations. Every detail mattered. Now it was time to show the aliens what humans were capable of. Amy White struck another group of alien ships. Explosions lit the darkness of space. Shields collapsed, engines failed, and panic spread. The aliens realized they had underestimated humans completely. They had expected fear. They had expected surrender. They had found strategy, patience, and precision instead. The fleet commander sent messages demanding retreat, but it was too late. Human ships were everywhere, striking from unexpected directions. Massive alien vessels could not defend. The fleet commander realized his mistake. Humans were not to be feared for their size. Humans were to be feared for their courage, intelligence, and strategy. John Carter watched reports from orbit. Humans had achieved what no one expected. The alien fleet was faltering, scattered, and confused. Humans had struck decisively without panic, without fear, without chaos. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not primitive. Humans were strong, clever, and prepared. Amy White returned from her patrol. Her squadron had completed their strikes. Minimal human damage. Maximum alien confusion. She smiled. Humans had done what others thought impossible. They had turned the approach of a massive fleet into a victory of strategy and courage. Commander Lisa Brown coordinated the final attacks for part of the fleet. Alien ships began to retreat. Engines damaged. Weapons destroyed. Humans had won the first battle without losing control. The aliens learned the hard way what humans were capable of. Kevin Hall monitored energy grids and weapons systems. Humans had struck with precision. They had defended their home. They had proven their strength. Decades of preparation, training, and planning had succeeded. Humans had turned a potential disaster into the first victory. John Carter sent one final message to the aliens. It was calm, firm, and clear. Leave now, or face humanity's full strength. The fleet commander understood the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humans had survived. Humans had planned, and humans had struck with precision. On Earth, President David Hall watched in silence. Humans had faced a massive fleet and survived. They had turned fear into strength, weakness into advantage, and patience into power. Humans had smiled when others would have panicked. The galaxy had learned that humans were not just survivors. They were warriors. Amy White looked at the stars, calm and confident. Humans had proven their strength. Humans had survived against impossible odds. The aliens had underestimated them. Humans had shown the galaxy their true power. John Carter reviewed the reports one last time. Humans had prepared, humans had acted, and humans had won. The first battle was over, but the war for respect in the galaxy had just begun. Humans had smiled, while the alien fleet faltered. The galaxy would never forget it. The alien fleet began to retreat. Massive ships limped away from the inner solar system. Engines damaged, weapons destroyed, shields broken. Panic and confusion spread among their ranks. The fleet commander stared at the reports, disbelief written across his face. Humans had survived. Humans had fought. Humans had won. On Earth, Admiral John Carter watched the retreat. He did not cheer, but his face was calm with quiet satisfaction. Commander Lisa Brown stood beside him, observing the screens. Small human ships darted through space, ensuring the aliens could not regroup too quickly. The battle had been decisive. Humans had struck without fear, with strategy, and with precision. Pilot Amy White returned from a final patrol near Mars. Her ship had disabled a group of alien fighters that had tried to flank the retreating fleet. She landed smoothly in a hidden bay and removed her helmet. She felt calm. Humans had done what no one expected. The aliens had underestimated them, and now they were paying the price. Engineer Kevin Hall monitored energy outputs from hidden stations and orbital defenses. Every system had performed perfectly. Weapons fired when needed, shields protected key positions, and drones had confused enemy targeting systems. Humans had prepared for decades, and that preparation had won the first decisive battle in the solar system. President David Hall addressed the human command centers via video feed. Civilians had begun to notice reports of alien ships retreating. They were amazed, fearful, and proud. The president spoke calmly. Today, humans have shown the galaxy what we are capable of. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But we will defend our home, our people, and our world with everything we have. Let this be a warning. Never underestimate humans. In space, small human ships returned to hidden stations, repairing minor damage and preparing for any potential return of the alien fleet. Coordination was perfect. Humans did not celebrate blindly. They prepared for the future. Patience and planning were their greatest weapons. Amy White met with other pilots in the command center. They reviewed reports and confirmed that the alien fleet had suffered significant losses. Their ships were scattered, their organization broken. The humans had proven their strength. They had not panicked, they had not rushed, and they had not wasted resources. Strategy had won. John Carter walked through the command center. He observed officers, pilots, and engineers, all focused on their tasks. Humans had survived for generations because they prepared, adapted, and learned from mistakes. Today was no different. Humans had defended their home not with sheer numbers, but with intelligence, courage, and precision. Lisa Brown coordinated the retrieval of damaged ships. Drones surveyed the battlefield, scanning for debris, and locating small alien vessels left behind. Humans acted efficiently. Every move had purpose. The aliens had expected chaos and panic, but humans had delivered strategy and calm. Kevin Hall reviewed the energy grids one last time. All systems had performed perfectly. Weapons had fired when needed, shields had held, and communications had never failed. Humans had prepared for every possible scenario. The aliens had underestimated them completely. Crossed. Humans had smiled in the face of danger, and they had won. On Earth, civilians watched news reports with amazement. They had feared destruction, but instead, they saw humans defending their planet with skill and courage. Children stared at the stars, imagining the small human ships darting through space. Adults felt pride and relief. Humans had survived what no one thought possible. In the outer solar system, alien scouts reported back. Their numbers were diminished, their confidence broken. The fleet commander realized humans were not primitive, weak, or afraid. They were clever, prepared, and dangerous. He sent messages demanding retreat. But the aliens were scattered, unable to regroup. The humans had shown them their power. Amy White stood by the observation window, looking at space. Stars glimmered, distant planets shone, and the remnants of the alien fleet moved slowly away. She thought about the humans who had built the ships, designed the weapons, and trained for this moment. They had prepared for decades, and it had paid off. Humans had survived when others would have fallen. John Carter sent a final message to the galaxy. It was calm, firm, and clear. Humans did not seek war. Humans did not seek conquest. But humans would defend their home with every ounce of strength, skill, and intelligence they possessed. The message was received by councils, fleets, and worlds across the stars. Humans had proven they were not to be underestimated. Kevin Hall deactivated the last defensive grids for now, but he did not relax. Humans had won this battle, but preparation never stopped. Hidden ships returned to stations. Energy systems powered down to conserve resources, and engineers began repairs. Humans had survived. Humans had proven themselves. The galaxy would remember. Lisa Brown reviewed the battle reports. Alien losses were significant. Their morale was shattered. Humans had used strategy, patience, and intelligence to win. Not a single human had acted recklessly. Every move had purpose. Humans had turned fear into strength, chaos into strategy, and weakness into advantage. Amy, White, and her squadron celebrated quietly. No loud cheers, no boasts. Humans did not need to announce victory. The aliens had seen it. The galaxy had seen it. Humans were survivors, strategists, and warriors. The fleet commander of the aliens knew that underestimating humans had been a grave mistake. On Earth, President David Hall addressed the world. Humans have faced a fleet that many thought unstoppable. We have survived because we prepare, because we adapt, and because we do not give up. Today, the galaxy learned a lesson. Humans are strong. Humans are clever. Humans survive. John Carter reviewed final battle scans. Human ships had struck with precision, defended with strategy, and confused the enemy at every turn. The aliens had retreated, but humans had not pursued recklessly. Patience had been their ally. Humans had proven strength without arrogance. They had proven courage without fear. Kevin Hall walked through the repair bays. Engineers worked quietly, repairing small damages, checking systems, and preparing for the possibility that the aliens might return. Humans never stopped preparing. It was not pride. It was survival. They had learned that centuries of planning and training were worth every effort. Amy White looked at the stars once more. The alien fleet was retreating. Humans had not sought to destroy everything in their path, but they had shown the galaxy their skill and courage. Humans had defended their home with patience, strategy, and intelligence. The galaxy would remember. Lisa Brown coordinated post-battle activities. Hidden stations returned to quiet operation. Communication networks were restored to normal. Drones were repositioned. Human ships returned to orbit and hidden bases. Humans had won, but preparation never ended. Humans survived because they never stopped learning, never stopped planning, and never stopped adapting. John Carter stood at the observation window, watching space. The alien fleet was a shadow in the distance. Humans had survived against overwhelming odds. They had proven themselves without fear. The galaxy had learned that humans were not to be underestimated. Humans had smiled when others would panic. Humans had won, and the lesson would not be forgotten. Kevin Hall confirmed that all energy systems were stable. All weapons were ready if needed. All communication networks were functioning. Humans had survived the first battle. The aliens had learned a lesson. Humans had survived because they prepared, adapted, and never panicked. Amy White prepared her ship for post-battle patrols. Her squadron would scan the solar system for any remaining alien threats. Humans did not take victory for granted. They had won, but survival required constant vigilance. Humans were patient, prepared, and precise. The aliens had underestimated them, and the galaxy had learned why humans survived against all odds. John Carter sent one last report to the president. Humans had defended the planet. Alien fleets had retreated. Humans had shown courage, intelligence, and strategy. The first battle was over, but the story of humans in the galaxy was just beginning. Humans had smiled when others would have panicked. The galaxy had learned to respect them. President David Hall addressed the command centers again. Today, humans have proven their strength. We have survived against what seemed impossible. The galaxy has seen what humans are capable of. We do not seek war. And 12. But we will defend our home. Humans prepare. Humans fight. Humans survive. Amy White, Kevin Hall, Lisa Brown, and John Carter all stood quietly, watching the stars. Humans had won. Humans had survived. Humans had smiled when others expected fear. The galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were clever, patient, and strong. Humans never gave up. And far above Earth, the alien fleet continued its retreat. They had faced humans and learned their lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not primitive. And humans did not panic. Humans were prepared, skilled, and deadly when defending their home. The galaxy had learned that humans could not be underestimated. Earth was safe for now. The humans had survived the greatest threat in their history. They had used patience, strategy, and intelligence to win. The aliens had underestimated them. The galaxy had learned the lesson. Humans had smiled while others would have panicked. Humans had won. And in that quiet moment, John Carter looked at his officers. He said, "Humans survived because we prepared. Humans survived because we adapted. Humans survived because we never gave up. And that is why the galaxy will remember us." Amy White smiled quietly. Kevin Hall nodded. Lisa Brown looked at the stars. Humans had defended their home, and the story of their strength was only beginning. The galaxy would never forget it. Humans had survived, and humans had smiled.